They were forced to release on a strict schedule and weren't able to realize their vision. Well, that's when I say lazy, that's what I mean. I'm not blaming the devs. Obviously, you know, the devs want to make a good game, but yes, you know, corporate says no, it has to be done by this date, and so they have to cut corners. They're forced to, right? So, yeah, that sucks. That's why, you know, that's why, you know, if we have to wait years and years and years for Kingdom Hearts 4, you know, you know that, you know, yes, there's deadlines. Yes, at some point, you know, you got to get stuff done, and maybe cut stuff or whatever. But, like, it takes a long time to make those huge games, and they're so massive. And, you know, like, I want it to be good, and I want them to go through all of the testing and quality control and finishing and all of that stuff, you know, and put in everything that they want to put in, you know? But it is incredible the amount of stuff. I cannot help. When I think of Kingdom Hearts 4, I cannot help but honestly expect it to be like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because that game came out so fast for how much was in that game. The amount of content in Rebirth is actually insane, and like different stuff too, like the different mini games and side quests and all that kind of stuff. Like, it was actually crazy how much was in that game. And so I'm wondering if they're holding KH4 to a similar standard, um and put it, you know, jam packing it with stuff. But they have the practice, they have the like knowledge base of how to do that quickly, and then Unreal Engine 5 makes it even easier to streamline that stuff. So I don't know. I just, like, I'm almost expecting a Rebirth type experience, an amount of content when it comes to KH4. I'm curious whether it's going to be on that level or not. Maybe not Rebirth levels, but like maybe, I don't know. I mean, Remake had side stuff too, but nothing like Rebirth. Nothing like Rebirth. And again, in such a short time. And then it looks like, it sounds like part 3 is going to come out before Kingdom Hearts 4, which is insane. Now, yes, they already have most of the assets. You know, you don't have to model characters from scratch for every single new, you know, for part 2 and part 3. So they already have a lot of the assets. They're making a lot of new stuff, but they're remixing and reusing a lot of stuff. You know, and everything from like particle effects and you know, just cutscenes and lighting and everything. Like, a lot of that can just be copy pasted, and I think that's probably why, you know, for the size of the game, the dev cycle is not that long for those. But Kingdom Hearts 4 is being built from the ground up. Kingdom Hearts 4 is like Final Fantasy VII Remake, the first installment, where yes, they do have to, you know, this is a new Sora. They're not just taking the KH3 one and doing it again. This is a brand new everybody and everything in Unreal Engine 5. So, you know, so of course the first installment is going to take a lot longer. They said, the reason I said I think part 3 is coming before KH4 is because in that interview where they said they're on schedule for both games, they said that they have a plan for when they're announcing part 3, like when we'll hear about part 3. I get a trailer. I forget if they were specific about it, but like, we know when we're going to announce part 3. Not KH4. Now, he could have just not been able to say. They could also know when they're announcing KH4, and it could be before 3, and he just wasn't allowed to say that. But he said, we know when we're announcing part 3. Nothing about KH4, just it's on schedule, which is good, which is fantastic. But there was nothing about like, oh yeah, we know when we're announcing KH4. So that makes me think that part 3 is coming out before KH4. And if they know when they're announcing part 3, it makes me think that part 3 might be coming out 2026, which would push KH4 to 2027, because I seriously doubt they would release part 3 and KH4 in the same year. KH4 is already announced. in the same sense that part 3 is. We know it exists. Yes, we've gotten a trailer, but that was an early, we don't want to show this off yet trailer. So like, even though, yeah, that to me, like like, it's the start. It's not necessarily when we hear about the game or even when we see a trailer or screenshots. To me, it's when are they starting the press cycle? They haven't started the press cycle, like the push. This game's coming out. Look for a release date. We're starting trailers. We're starting social media posts. That kind of like, let's go. Like the like the media cycle is starting. This is the game we're focusing on advertising. That hasn't started for KH4 yet. Or part 3. They've said things about part 3. They've said things about KH4. So to me, them saying we know when we're going to announce part 3 or whatever the wording was, to me, that translated as we're going to start the press cycle for part 3, which would mean that part 3 is coming out before KH4. This is just my own speculation from what I saw on a social media post. So like, you know, take all of that with a grain of salt. Nothing is anything. That's just how I interpreted it, because we're in a Kingdom Hearts drought and I'm desperate for any kind of speculation or anything about the game. And I love Final Fantasy VII as well. So, you know, it's just like, let's have fun and speculate. So that's in my head. That's what's going on. Until proven otherwise, that's what I have in my head for the release cycle for those two games. That's true. That Final Fantasy VII Part 3 doesn't even have, like, we don't even know its title yet. That's true. That's true. It's not Part 3. It's going to be something, you know, remake, rebirth, and Sephiroth. You know, we don't know what the title is even yet. That's true. That's true. Hey Gus, it's not real until pre-order now is at the end of the trailer, right? Recon. It's Final Fantasy VII Remind. No, we know Nomura doesn't like to reuse titles, so that's why he wanted Melody of Memory to be called Melody of Memories, because that actually makes more sense. But he already used Memories in Chain of Memories. He was like, shit, I can't reuse the word memories, so we made it Memory. That's why. FF7 retry. Retail. Reuse titles. Oh no, Wing got it exactly right. I'll only be upset if it doesn't come out before I die. Otherwise, I'll definitely be mad and haunt everyone from the grave. Life goal: live long enough to see the ending of Kingdom Hearts. I know. I literally worry for Nomura. Like, Kingdom Hearts 4 is not the end, right? Or at least I don't think so. Unless the Lost Master saga or arc is one game, or, you know, was supposed to be 2 and then 1 got canceled. No, like, Nomura is like up for retirement soon, and like, I cast immortality on Nomura. I know, like, I want him to like see the end of his series, right? Like, I want him to not only live to see it, but to work on it. And granted, he can be retired and still contribute, you know, but I mean, I know we're also going to need it. Exactly. I can't live forever, Nomura. FF7 retired. Like, that's what I want him to see the end of his own series. I want him to make the final Kingdom Hearts game, right? And like, if Kingdom Hearts 4 isn't it, now granted, you know, they're already working on the next title, right? They don't work on one game and then start the next one. You know, they're working on multiple titles at the same time. We just don't hear about it. So like, he's so close to retirement that I wonder if he's got it planned out. Like if he's like, okay, there's going to be 3 more games and I'm, you know, heavily involved in the development of all 3 of those games right now, maybe has them written, right? And maybe if he retires, maybe he won't finish the last game, but like he will have started the you know, started working on it, you know? No. Green Luther. So like I literally wonder, and I want him. I want to be around for the end of Kingdom Hearts, but I want him to be around for the end of Kingdom Hearts, right? So it's crazy. What a crazy time. What a crazy thing to be into. Crazy time. We'll have to see. We're just gonna have to take care of ourselves so we can be around to find out. That's right, and that means going on a break. So get up and stretch, get some water, stay hydrated, get some food if you got to get some food, and take care of yourself so we can live to see the end of Kingdom Hearts. All right, I'll be back.